Ndewo. Ndewo is an Igbo Nigerian word that means greetings, but it has a deeper meaning, and that is long life to all of you. And that is what I hope and pray for each and every one of you, wherever you are listening underneath the sound of my voice. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Ndumodo. Ndumodo is Igbo Nigerian for words of wisdom, words that I share here on this program with my guests that you can add to your repertoire. I'm Dr. Uwa Onyoha Osimiri. I'm the president of the African Women Economic Consortium and the global head of the Women's Leadership Mobilization Commission of the International Preparatory Committee of the Pan-African Federalist Movement. Welcome, welcome. It is my honor to welcome you. We are dedicating this month to the Pan-African Federalist Movement. I don't know how many of you have heard about it, but you're going to hear about it today. Before we go any further, I would like to applaud the vision of the president of the IPC, President Adam Sama Seku, Vice President Amadou Sek, Secretary General Jume Ndongo Faye of the IPC, and all of the chairs of the different commissions of the IPC, the RCCs, that's the regional committees, the national committees, and the local committees. It is wonderful what they are doing to bring to vision. They bring their vision forward and make it a reality. But it's going to take all of us to make this happen, because it's just not about any one person. It is about all of us. Today, we are featuring women of the Executive Board of Women's Leadership Mobilization Commission. We will hear their take on different matters affecting women and Africans in general, and how they can use their position to make a change in the lives of women and children, and certainly in this wonderful, wonderful mission, the Pan-African Federalist Movement. Before we go any further, let me remind you that we have a website, womencommission.net. If you want to know a little bit more about us, I ask you to please go there and check us out and join us Ndumodo on facebook.com/Ndumodo1. Every Saturday, we are here. If you want to get in touch with the Pan-African Federalist Movement, the Women Commission, you can contact us at 470-541-3448. Again, that's 54. You take it down if you can. That would be wonderful. So I am just so excited to have these wonderful women. I want to just read this to you. Kwame Nkrumah stated, "It is clear that we mind to our problems, and that this can only be found in African unity." That is correct. I want to take unity to make anything happen for the Africans, wherever we are. Unity in mind, unity in thought, unity in action. It's only in our unity can we implement self-determination. How we can solve our own problems. We cannot solve the problem of African people by others. We have the responsibility to solve our own problems collectively, not individually, but collectively, not just those on the continent. If we want anything to change on the continent, we have to include the diaspora, those in North America, Latin America, Europe, Asia. Our people are everywhere, but it's going to take all of us coming together to make sure that what ails Africa stops. You see, you can't talk about what other people are doing to you when you allow it to be done. It is your responsibility. You can't talk about how bad it is when you are the one raising a child who's bad. So it is your responsibility. It is our responsibility to lift up Africa. You see, Africa is very wealthy, very rich, but we don't have control of our mineral resources. But if we can come together and harness the resources, we can create, we can fund the United African States, East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, West Africa, diaspora, coming together to form the United African States, whereby we will be responsible for our good or lack thereof. We have issues that manifest in Africa we can't solve because we have each individual small organization or countries trying to do it by themselves. So we become Our economy becomes based on aid. When somebody's telling you how to spend their money, they control how you act. They control your resources. The world is a Serengeti, ladies and gentlemen. Survival of the fittest. We have to ask ourselves, do we want to survive or do we want to serve? And if we must serve, must we not serve ourselves? Of course we should. And that is why the United African States must happen right now. And the Pan-African Federalist Movement is at the forefront, pushing for this. And so we are a part of that. We African people, we have the skill sets everywhere. Look all over the world. We are there. Name it, we are there. And a lot of what goes on, we are giving to others. It's time we give to ourselves. It's time we do for ourselves because we have the capacity. We have to use our skill sets, all of us, wherever you are. The Igbo people say, no for no, wherever you are, bring what you've got to the table. Join the movement. And we must have faith that we can do this because we can. Yes, we can. It's up to us. When all is said and done, it is up to us. And that is why it is exciting for me to bring these fantastic women who are joining us today. These are women of substance, women who are already achieving in their areas of expertise. And they are going to talk to us about how they can use their economic opulence, their technological know-how, their business acumen to help to mobilize leaders all over the world, women leaders, to join in this wonderful movement. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our first guest, Commissioner Ngozi Orabueze, who is the president of the Georgia Act and Healthcare Services. Commissioner Ngozi, welcome. Welcome.
Good morning.
It is wonderful to see you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Dr. I'm good, Dr. Owa. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Commissioner Denise Muhammad. She is the president of La Feminity Universal Sisterhood of Women. She's not here with us yet, so I'm just going to pass on her and until she joins us. Then we have Commissioner Judge Tiffany Cartwright, who is the president of Amara Cosmetics. Tiffany, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. You look lovely as always. You all, ladies, you are kicking it today. I'm so proud to look at all of you. And then we have, welcome. Now we have Commissioner Simone Ajamu, who is the president of Intuitive Science. Commissioner Ajamu, welcome to the broadcast. How are you? You look lovely. I want that outfit.
You're very good. You look lovely as always. Also,
thank you. I'm trying to keep up with you women. I can't be the one embarrassing you. Trying to keep up. Thank you so very much. And then I want to welcome Commissioner Michelle Abdelaziz, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of Brookings Construction Apprenticeship Institute. Michelle, welcome to the broadcast. How are you today? How are you today? I can't hear you. Okay,
I'm doing well.
There we go. You were muted a moment ago. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. We have Commissioner Tina Hutchins, who is not able to meet us today, join us today because she is her mother got ill today, so we are praying for her. Somebody's I don't know whose mic is making noise, but when one of you is speaking, I'm going to mute you so that we don't have any noise in the background. So we have two more commissioners who are not here at the moment, but I'm sure they'll join us soon enough. But we are going to start by welcoming those who are joining us. Danzi family. Danzi, thank you for joining us. Let's see. We have Matt Lewis, Ndewo Matt. Then we have Udemezwe Onyoha. Thank you for joining us. Ndewo. Nosferatu, thank you for joining us. Ada Okoro, thank you. And Yudi says that all of you ladies look beautiful. And indeed you do. Okay, so we are going to get started, and I want to start with Onisha and Ngozi Owabreze. Ngozi, one of the things that I say, and I know you'll agree with me, each one of us, and I'm going to mute the rest of you, please, so that we can have. Okay, I'm getting some noise somewhere. Okay. All right, because I am going to be speaking with Ngozi right now. So I am going to ask you some questions, Ngozi, and it's going to stem from the fact that all of us have heroes and sheroes. Now, many of us, of course, our parents are heroes. But I want you to decide. I want you to talk about who outside of your parents was your hero. Who motivated you to do what you're doing today?
Yeah. Actually, good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Ngozi Owabreze. My she hero, apart from my mother, as you explained, is my daughter. My daughter is my hero. I say that because I strongly believe that everything I am today was because of the encouragement I got from my first daughter, Dr. Michelle Owabreze. She
Dr.
is
Michelle
something.
just graduated.
Yeah, she is doing her residency at the Ventura County Medical Center in California. From the time she was small, she's always the person that looked in my eye and cried and said, "Mommy, anything you want to do, you know you can do it, and I will always be there for you." So that word of encouragement, she's always hammering on that. Anywhere she is, any event they are doing in the school, my hero is my mother. She's the most powerful woman, the strongest woman, the most determined person I've ever seen. When she says those words with tears in her eye every day, that encourages me to be stronger and be the best that I could be, despite all the challenges.
That is wonderful to have that kind of relationship with your child. You can't beat that. There are people who don't have that kind. So what a blessing it is for you. Dr. Owabreze, you are involved in the health field, right? What do you
Yes.
think? What significance that does health play in the well-being of women? And how would mobilizing in that area affect a positive outcome?
Thank you so much. Um, as you know, I'm a family nurse practitioner, board certified. I'm also a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. With that background and with a very strong background in caring for patients, both in the inpatient and outpatient scenarios, I strongly believe that women's our health is our wealth. Once we are able to take care of our health, every other thing becomes secondary. We cannot achieve much if we are sick or we're in the hospital. So, preventive and primary care in areas of having our annual checks, our pap smear, going for our medicals, our labs every year, that will help us to detect some of the comorbid conditions that are persistent in our lives. Some women don't even know they have things like high blood pressure, hypertension, high cholesterol. Some don't even know their diabetes. So I see patients that come to the clinic and I've been having Dr. Ngazi, I've been having so much headache. I've been having dizziness. I don't know where this is coming from. And these are powerful women. I cannot sleep. And then when we do basic things, just like checking their blood pressure, checking their blood sugar, you will see that their blood sugar might be like in the 200 or 300s. And you ask them, "Do you know you're diabetic?" They say, "No, nobody have ever told me like this." "Do you know you have high blood pressure?" "No, I don't know. What can I do?" So our yearly labs, taking care of our health is very, very important, because once we are able to take care of these basic things, it makes us stronger to make changes in our world, make changes in our family, make changes in our lives. So it is very, very important for women to follow science. It is very, very important. Just look at what the coronavirus is doing in our lives today. Some women does not believe there's anything like COVID-19. Some women does not want to have vaccines. Some women are not even encouraging their family members to get vaccinated against this deadly disease. So being very aware and being conscious of our health, as science portends that, is very, very critical for our being impactful to the community. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And as we are mobilizing women all over the world, I think that health is so critical because you can't mobilize people who are sick. You understand? So as we
Exactly.
mobilize, that's one of the things I like. Where are the women? You know, where's the health? And what are the health opportunities that even exist for them? And that's why we are putting together the telemed program, where we have all these doctors who are available to women wherever they are. They can call in, get diagnosis, get diagnosed before they actually go and see a doctor, because a lot of times they get misdiagnosed, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah. That
do you know
telemed is
that to
very,
be the case in misdiagnosis?
yes. Yes, that telemed is very critical, especially especially in areas of helping the African women and all that. Being able to connect with them via just the way you and I talking right now, being able to have a system whereby we're going to have a setup over there, and also be able to use the system we have over there to do basic. I mean, we're not talking about referrals, huge, doing surgery and all that, but preventive and primary care is the way to go. Because when we can be able to basically take care of those preventive and primary care issues among our women, then we can build a healthy society. So being able
That's
to
right.
tell somebody, either in a very remote area of Oga, my village in Nigeria, in Anambra State, go to this particular clinic. Again, it has to be interactive both ways. But we know that the system we have over there is have the basic and the cutting edge technologies we need to be able to, from here, be able to see them, diagnose them, tell them, go do this basic lab. And we have capable people that we train, that are on ground, that can able to do basic blood work, put it in the machines that we need, either the CBC, CMP, regular TSH, checking the things like that. Being able to run A1Cs, lipid panels on ground there and see the result real time, and be able to
That's
put the
right.
medications for them real time, and they will start taking them and feel much better. That is going to be a huge step that we can do.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And that's why when I talk about mobilization, I'm not just talking about us women coming together, but I'm talking about us doing something for these women we're mobilizing to come and promote this program. Okay, we have one of our members that's trying to get in, so but I'll get her in a moment. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now let me go to Denise. Denise, how are you? How are you, Denise? No, Denise, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Michelle. Michelle, I'm talking. I'm calling you Michelle. Denise. Michelle, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Let me ask you a question. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Thank you for joining us. So, who was your Shiro? Who made you, besides mom and dad? And I'll repeat that. Who out of the family made you who you are today? Encouraged you to be what you are today?
Well, I want to thank you for that question. It's everyone relates to their family, and that's a strong bond. But I would have to say, Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker.
Why is that? Why is that?
She was dynamic. I heard about her from my Florida relatives, about her ability to be marketable, to have her own business. She was the first female self made millionaire in the United States. So, just not of African heritage, but she was the first female. And I think she was born in 1867. And I think at that time, she had unsurmountable amount of barriers in front of her. One of the great things about Madam C.J. Walker, her given name is Sarah Breedlove, uh, but she was a washerwoman. She found herself divorced with a child, and she washed clothes for a living. But so she went through social class. She broke barriers at every level, uh, and she was dynamic to rise up from being a washerwoman to being the first female self-made millionaire in the United States is a great accomplishment.
So how did that affect you? What impact did that have in what you're doing? I know you're in business, serious business. Talk about what you do and how do you relate her influence to what you're doing and how you're
Right
doing
now,
to influence and bring.
yes, what I'm doing, I have several backgrounds, but my craft is urban planning, which is a social act. And Madam C.J. Walker was very social. She was social in how she rose her business, which makes a lot of sense because there's value in social standing. Uh,
Mhm.
so she was relatable. And I think that's what helped me to think of all the social classes that we have and how can you be
Mm.
relatable to each class, to each set of people as a
Mm.
value in society. And Madam C.J.
Mm.
Walker did that. She brought people from all classes. She was relatable to them all, from lower class to high upper middle class.
So how are you doing? Are you emulating that in your business and how are you doing so?
Yes, I am emulating Madam C.J. Walker. Uh, I am. I have a nonprofit that I've been working in for 7 years at the grassroots level. I came in top down. I had won
Mm.
a National Congressional Leadership Award in 2005, and a lot of people cheered me on, and they didn't know if I could really break into the lower class and
Mm.
find people who were willing to work for community. I'm all about self,
Mhm.
family, and community. Those social standings are for me. And Madam C.J. Walker did that.
Mm.
She was uh, committed to herself, she was committed to
Mhm.
her family, and she was really committed to community. Uh,
Okay. So now
she is,
let me ask you in terms of what you do. That's uh, Madam CJ Walker. She really, I can see why she's your hero because she is for a whole lot of women out here. Now, as you mobilize, because part of your responsibility, our responsibility, is to mobilize women. How do we use? How do we mobilize them based on what you? How do you see what you're doing as influencing people's opinion about being a part of the Pan African Federalist movement? How would you reach out to people?
I think I would use Madam C.J. Walker best tool, and that was storytelling.
Storytelling.
She was a great
Okay.
storyteller. She revealed something of herself
Mm.
to mobilize people, and that's the
Okay.
relatability. We have to be relatable. We come with all
That's
these
right.
titles, and that can be
Mm-hmm.
very intimidating to a lot of our people
Mm-hmm.
and where they are. So we have to relate
Mm.
to them. And I can
Yeah.
relate to them because I was at the height of my career as an analyst, instructional developer, and I dropped everything to get in my little red boat and my mission to help my community
Mhm.
globally. But I had to start locally. And
Yeah.
so I chose poverty. And so I learned a
Mm.
lot about poverty. I learned a lot
Mm.
about the barriers and I became relatable to people, some of the struggles that they have.
Mm.
But I also have
Mm.
been
And that's
dedicated to showing people a way out. It's one thing to be
mm.
relatable.
Okay.
And I think that's what Madam
Mhm.
CJ Walker through hair, she showed people a way out, how to change themselves to
Mhm.
have healthy hair, no matter what
Mm.
state they wanted it in, but to have
Mm.
healthy hair and to feel good
Mhm.
about themselves. And I think that's somewhere because she mobilized. She had over 10,000 employees in the United States. She wanted to go globally, but her
Mm.
health failed her and she passed. But I
Mhm.
think helping people have confidence.
Mhm. That is the role you, so that's the role you're going to play, is to give people confidence and encourage them to come in, because we're about giving people confidence. We're about making people understand, hey, listen, this is not about anybody else. This is about you. You can do this. So thank you for that. I'm going to come back to you, but right now I'm going to go to, thank you so much. Let me go to
You're welcome.
Commissioner. Thank you, my darling. I'm going to go to Commissioner Tiffany Cartwright, president of Amara Cosmetics. Tiffany, how are you? There you are. There you are. How are you doing? So, who was your shiro besides mom? I know mom is your shiro, but who else was? Can you hear me?
So my Shiro is a woman.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. My Shiro is a woman who was raised in the projects and who pressed her way, graduated from high school, and as a single mom, raised two children, one who became a judge and the other who went to both medical school and dental school. And in addition to putting herself through college and raising two children, she also became the first person in her family to graduate from college, which blazed the trail for those who came behind her to know that they too could successfully continue their education. And as a result of that, others have graduated from college as well and gone on to pursue higher education. And she also became the first Black woman to be promoted to the ranks of lieutenant for the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, which again blazed that trail for other Black women to follow along in her footsteps and also rise to the ranks of sergeant as well as lieutenant. And that person has been throughout my entire life a source of motivation, inspiration, encouragement, and never-ending love. And I do understand what the expectations are. However, I would be remiss to name my own right as my shiro, not just because of what she has done in my life, but because all of the Black that she through her life journey has been able to and motivate and encourage to whether it's academically, whether it's starting businesses, whether it's being the best mom or even the best wife that they can be, that she has successfully encouraged and motivated. And I call her a world changer who just
Mm.
happens to be my mom.
No, well, you still chose your mom, of course. Okay, all right. So tell me, you are in business. You're in the cosmetics business. You're also a judge, of course, and you have achieved
And
so
we have
much
a
in such
delay.
little time.
It sounds like there's a delay, so I
Yeah,
do hope that
we're
everything.
having difficulty
Wait,
with your mic. Let, can you hear me? Well, okay, I'm going to come back to you, Tiffany. I'm going to come back to you because we're kind of having difficulty with your mic, but I'll be back to you. But let me go to Denise Every Mohammed, who just well, no, I think some of you have been waiting for quite a while. So I'm going to go to Simone Garland. Simone, how are you? Commissioner Simone Jamu is the president of Intuitive Science. How are you doing? So who is your Shiro? Tell me who your Shiro
My
is.
Shiro, when you brought that question, at first I was thinking, I love my dear mother-in-law. She is my Shiro, but I also have to give honor and respect to all of the matriarchs that have come before me and has influenced my life. Like Maya Angelou said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And I really believe that because there is so many women that has influenced my life and has allowed me to be the strong Black woman that I am today, with love for the diaspora and love for my people, and the enthusiasm and the willingness to help move us forward. I am so excited. So I will say my Shiro, I always have to mention my dear mother-in-law because she knew that I would do anything for her because I loved her so much. She was such a powerful woman, very powerful. Nana Oshindara, Nefertiti Ajamu. I love that woman. She is so dear to my heart, but I had to mention the others because it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention. I can hear my grandmother now saying, Simone, you didn't mention me. I'm the one. She instilled in me the love for Africa, the love for my people, and to support and patronize our people, to elevate our people. So many times we would go into restaurants, we would go into different places, and she would say, she would go up to the people. If it wasn't right, she didn't care. We would be in the middle of Mississippi. Some of those people looked like they never seen a Black person before. We would walk right in the restaurant as if they weren't looking at us. And if they were going towards the back of the restaurant, she'll say, I know you're not taking us to that back of the restaurant. We would all be waiting, looking. So it took the fear to fight for what is right in our equality and what we are entitled to. Also, again, I'm going to go back to my mother-in-law and how she has impacted the world. And she instilled in me and saw in me the power. She used to say, Simone, you are so powerful and you need to be doing your work. And I was having, I have 3 small children, so I was having kids back to back to back. And she said, Simone, I'm losing my assistant. I'm losing, because we were doing things together and going in places together, and she was mentoring me. But I am so appreciative to her because I have never seen someone with the capacity of love for people and love for people all over the world.
All over the
She
world.
made them feel that they were family. She made them feel that they were family. And so I myself look up to that. And I am aspiring to have that capacity of love that she had, and influence and power that she had. And she inspired me so much that I can do anything, and achieve anything. A woman from Beaumont, Texas, influenced the world, the Africa, the Caribbeans, everywhere in the world. It was just amazing.
Well, I happen to know her as well. So I know that everything you're saying is true. But let me ask you, you have such power, so enthusiasm. How are you going to use that to influence this movement? How are you going to apply this energy to bring it? Remember, our role is to bring leaders. How are you going to take that enthusiasm and encourage them and join the caravan, the Pan-African Federalist Movement. You tell me how you're going to apply all that wonderful energy.
How I would do that. My expertise is in business. I'm a business owner. I'm in business and also in the healing arts and things like that. And I want to, in whatever way I can, to be able to educate, to be able to pass on the gifts and the knowledge that I have to women of the diaspora for their advancement. And so I would like to do that and also encourage people like I was encouraged. Another person I didn't mention is a Shiro, but she is my Shiro, is my grandma Amanda that I named my 6-year-old after. And she was, of her time, she was my grandmother's on my father's side grandmother. So you know that's way back. That's a long time ago. And at that time, it was hard for Black people and people of the diaspora. But she was an entrepreneur despite all of the opposition, all of the racism, all of the things, the atrocities that Black people was going through. She made it for herself. She was a powerful woman and an entrepreneur. She built from the ground up hotels for Black people because they were unable to go to the white hotels. At that time, as a woman, by herself, she did that. And she did that with the money that she earned as she trained animals. She was very known to train animals. She was very known for making medicines for animals and people. And she was very known for her soaps. So she took that money, invested it, and built the hotels in Georgia for the Black people that was coming through would have somewhere to stay. She did that, and it's so inspirational to me. With all of the children, I believe she had 12 children. With all of the children, despite all of that, there is no obstacle that is there that cannot move us forward, where we cannot achieve our goals. Is so inspirational.
That's right. It's so wonderful. I am going to now at the end of this program, I'm going to bring everybody to the screen so that you can add your thoughts. So I'm going to add to the screen. Thank you so much. I love your enthusiasm, and we're going to need enthusiasm to get women in this program. I'm going to add Tiffany. No. Denise Mohammed has joined us. Tiffany, I'm going to bring you in a minute. Denise Mohammed is our ambassador. I beg your pardon, our commissioner. Thank you so much. You've been struggling all day trying to get in. Can you hear me? You've been trying to get in. I know sometimes we have to deal with technology. It's not always our friend. But Denise is, we can hear you. Denise is the president of La Feminati, Universal Sisterhood of Women. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you? I love the color. You just look gorgeous this morning. Tell us who is your Shiro? Who motivated you to do what it is you're doing today? Besides your mother. No, let's just talk about one, because I got all kinds of questions to ask you. Give me one besides mom.
You know what? I would say Martha Jean the Queen. Martha Jean the Queen was a very spiritual woman, and she formed a New Thought Pentecostal church called the Home of Love. And she taught metaphysics as well as apostolic, and she put it together. And this woman took over the radio industry and became the president of WCHB and had a inspirational hour every day from 12 noon to 2. And she healed the city. She healed women. And so watching Martha Jean the Queen do so many things that at that time women weren't a part of, and she pushed through. And so she's one of my mentors. She's one of my heroes. But my other one is, for all of the women who backs we stand up on, is Harriet Tubman. That's a hero. Harriet Tubman freed many slaves, a woman by herself that was being led by that intuitive power. And she taught, I'm sure, all the people around her to depend on that Christ within themselves as she led them free. So she would be a hero to me.
So how do you, thank you. I know her. I remember when she had her a radio show, and her following, she had quite a huge following. I remember her. She passed away maybe about 10 years ago. I'm not sure. But anyway, one of the most important things that we're losing as a people is the culture. And people don't understand the importance of culture. Culture is you. That's who you are. And when you give that away, you're embracing something that's foreign to you, and you cannot operate your life based on someone else's impression about you. Have your own. So as we are mobilizing women, I think that we must encourage them to embrace whatever culture, whatever skin they're in. So let me ask you, what role can we play to make culture a part, protecting heritage a part of the movement? How do we do that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think we do that by being authentic and being ourselves. Because when you're authentic and being yourselves, people can resonate with that. And so,
what does that mean, be yourself? What does that mean, being?
I mean, as black women, we're outspoken. We're leaders. We love music. We love art. We love to just have a good time, but we love to study. So the culture of the Black woman is our food, our music, and our sisterhood, in a sense, for those who grew up around women. So, and also we bring the culture of music. We look at the music industry right now. It's being led by women all over the planet. I see Asian women coming out forward. We see African women coming out forward with their music. So I think with us in mobilizing women, if we are authentic and we're being ourselves and we're coming as queens to the table and we're walking with integrity and love and compassion, I think those attributes will draw more women, because we are looking for compassion. We are looking for love. We are looking for our sisters to be there with us as we move in the trenches.
Absolutely. I love that. And I'm going to come back to you. Let me bring forward, I think she's hopefully, Tiffany, hopefully your camera is working now. Your sound system is working now. How are you? Let me see, make sure that you can hear me. Hold on a minute.
That was my mic. Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, but thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Tiffany, the question I had asked you earlier was the fact that you're a big businesswoman. Yes, I say you haven't made your first 10 million, but you're getting there. How is it? As we mobilize women, we must pay attention, women. One of the things that I don't want to see us doing is just telling people come and be a part of what we're doing. We need to be able to offer them something. We need to be able to provide training, give them opportunities, see beyond where they are, go beyond their present and into the future. So given your powerful business acumen, how can we use that to motivate people to come into the Pan-African Federalist movement?
Absolutely. And one of the things I think it's so important that we do, particularly as leaders, is that we have to stop talking about it and be about it. And I don't mean that just as a slogan. I mean, we have to put the action in and put the time in. We want to lead by example. One of the things that my goal, as far as being a business owner, for me, it means empowering women by creating jobs, by providing opportunities, by providing mentorship, by providing training. Now, with my business personally, I seeking out women who are returning citizens, who've been formerly incarcerated, maybe made mistakes in their past, for which they based on society would never be forgiven. Why I feel like it's incumbent upon people like myself as a business owner to reach back and to help the people, help those women who, again, maybe made one mistake, and in some cases, maybe not even that. Also, the women who've been victimized by domestic violence and those who have been victims or potential victims of human trafficking, where we literally take them by the hand and say, hey, I have an opportunity for you. I'm giving you an opportunity not just to have a better life for yourself, but for your children and your grandchildren, actually doing something that empowers them and puts them in a position to create a legacy that will be here long after we're gone. And so that's what I think is so crucial. You know, we talk about as a people, you know, we need jobs, we need jobs. Well, you know, my position is that, yeah, we don't just need jobs, we need job creators. We have to be those creators. We have to put ourselves in a position so that we can give back, so that we can empower others. It's one thing to tell someone, oh, I really am going to pray that you get out of your situation. I'm going to really pray that things turn around for you. I'm going to pray that you get the things that you need to sustain yourselves. But it's a whole nother level of empowerment to say, not only am I going to pray for you, but I'm going to give you a job so that you can have financial independence and have your own income, have your own transportation, be able to provide for yourself without government assistance. That's, to me, what it's so crucial that we do. And I think that when you lead by example and people see that those are the things that you're doing, and that's the way that you're empowering women, that other women will want to be a part of it so that we can support each other as sisters.
Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. You know what? This is what it's about. You know, initially when people thought the commission was just going to just tell people to come in. No, all of you have something to offer. Do you understand? If we work together, we can present information for women to see what the potential is out here for them. And people don't want to come into empty space, right? People want to come to a place that's full. So if we're full of knowledge, if we're full of you know, all that you are offering, if we're offering healthcare, if you're offering education, opportunity for business, learn business, you know, those of us who need staff, we can hire some of the people who need jobs and what have you. I am encouraged by what I'm hearing. I just wanted to, quite frankly, get a feel the energy of being a part of women making things happen. Ladies, we have taken a position in the background for too long.
Yes.
You hear what I'm saying? We can't do that anymore. No, we don't have time for hesitating and vacillating and praying for manna from heaven. We are that manna, and heaven is right here. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I am so excited about all of you and what you have said. Now I'm going to share this with you. We have a woman who's coming into town tomorrow. Oh my God. No, today actually. She's going to be on Zoom. She is the first woman, possibly the first president of Gambia. She is running for president of the Gambia. You know, sisters, it's time, okay? And I'm telling you, Gambia is going to be different. Am I right or am I right?
Yes, you are.
Gambia is going to be different. Excuse me. She's going to be on if you're interested in listening to her, just send me a little note. I think if you can just spend maybe 15 minutes or whatever time and listen to her, and I'm trying to get her name is let's see, what is her name again? I want to pull up her name so I don't mess it up. Her name is Marie Sock. As a matter of fact, if you go online, you will see her, Marie Sock, S-O-C-K. She's of the Gambia. She is running for the president of the Gambia. And guess what? I may have her on my show. How about that? Yes. You know, we sisters, we got to latch on to big sisters doing things just like you are. Yes. And give them our support. She's going to be they're introducing her to the United States at 2 p.m. today. If you're interested in the Zoom program, please let me know, and I will give you information how to log in. So I want to ask each one of you, when we think about the Pan-African Federalist Movement. I just want a brief summary in your mind. Now that you are members of the commission, you have a responsibility. What in your mind is this saying? What is it saying to you that you must do? What does it mean to you to be a part of the Pan-African Federalist Movement? I'll start with
I'll
Ngozi.
start, Dr. Ua. I will start. I think that, again, for me, I think that it means that we have to be committed to using all of our God-given gifts and talents and pulling not just a pie in the sky, but also our resources to supporting, to imparting with knowledge, whether mentorship, to training, to helping, to using, because we're always blessed to be a blessing. It's never about us. And what we've been given is not for us. It's so that we can share. And so I'm so thankful, because for all of us, this is a God-given opportunity. It's an opportunity to pour in, to impart, to exhort, to encourage, just to be a blessing to others. And I think that as we come to the table, we have to be ready to lay it all on the table, again, for the greater cause.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my baby is feminosophy, and I think the greatest thing that we can do for women in the diaspora is to re-educate ourselves, that we are not from the rib of man, but that we came out of the essence of God in his creation. And so once we re-educate ourselves and walk away from this male chauvinist attitude that has put women in a subservient position, I think in that women in themselves will find that empowerment when they begin to understand that I'm not here to be a servant to the masculine energy, but I'm here to walk as God on the planet, as the original teacher, the original healer, the original moneymaker, because through women, we are the true source of all power. So once we re-educate ourselves, that we are not here for the pleasure of men, but we are here to heal the planet, to educate the planet, and to feed the planet, I think in that women will find their own leadership and move forward once they resonate to a vibrational level and understand that we are the true source of all power.
Say it again. we contribute more than we're giving credit. Ngozi, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, your thoughts?
Yes, I think as far as Pan-African, I'm thinking more about coordination, mobilization, and changing lives generally among our women. If we have the resources that we need, planning to make and impact our women, especially those in Africa overall, is gonna be a huge thing. They say that health is wealth. If we can be able to mobilize a lot of our people, the women, and then being able to give them, and I'm hearing that word consistently, what are we going to be giving? If we pull the resources together to be able to coordinate all these people, create that awareness, and then use the resources to impact their lives, I think we'll have a better society overall in the African diaspora. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Simone, do you have the parting words about what are your thoughts about being a part of the Pan-African Federalist Movement? We got the thing is that the United African States must happen within this decade. We don't have time. We cannot wait for 20, 30, 40 years.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, your thought.
With me being a healer, I'm a healer, I'm a Reiki master. And I also was a healer before that. I did divine healing and things like that. And also being a businesswoman and a woman, period. I think that I will contribute in what needs to be contributed. First of all, what is not talked about enough in our community, as the ladies were just saying, is healing. We have to have healing within our community. We've been through generations of trauma. Generations. And I know me personally, I'm here in my purpose and I'm serving my purpose. And part of being here is serving my purpose of healing and empowering the nations. And when I say the nations, it starts with me as a Black woman and us as Black women of the diaspora, and recognizing and healing the trauma that we've been through for generation after generation after generation. I know in my family alone, there's so many secrets because there was so much trauma. And there's a saying that you're as sick as your secrets. We have to resolve that as a community. And then once those things are removed, once those blocks are removed, because I deal with, when I'm dealing with my clients, I'm removing blocks. And once those blocks are removed, it opens up the floodgates of heaven on earth to come down, so that we are able to empower and we are able to move forward as strong women to not only influence our community, but stand side by side with all of those who have influence and have a foot in the world, not just our society, but the world. Because we are powerful. It is from our womb that leaders have come. We are the first innate leaders, and that comes from our womb as women. And so we make leaders, we birth leaders. And because we birth leaders, we are leaders. And so I want to bring forth and allow women to know and recognize who they really are and their power. And the truth of who we are that has been diminished in our society. The greatness of women and what we really offer to society and our importance. But that is what I would like to offer, and see that all of the women of the diaspora and the separation, we have to stop separating. We have to stop all of the separation, all of the foolishness.
Yes.
For me, I get along with all, I don't know what it is, but I get along with all types of women of the diaspora and other people, other places and things like that. And we have to find our commonality and stop allowing our differences to separate us and actually heal and move forward. Stop looking at what is wrong with us, and let's look at our commonality, our greatness, and come together as women and be able, that is what's going to allow us to advance.
Simone is on fire.
Yes.
Oh, I hear you, Simone. I feel you. Michelle, any parting thoughts about the concept of the Pan-African Federalist Movement, bringing all of Africa together? What are your thoughts on that? And we have just a few more minutes to end this.
I want to thank everyone. I really want to give a shout out to a good neighbor of mine. Her name is Nefer, and she follows the maat. And I think order is something that needs to be brought to this movement, because we can do things, but if it's haphazardly, as Simone said, first maybe we need to look at healing, and then we need to look at the order, sub-family community. And in that, culturally, what I can bring and what I do is culture and social capital, because you need social capital to progress. If you don't know how to harness social capital, it's very difficult to progress and move out of one situation. I mean, we are all here. We can all be sheroes to people, but we're not super women. People have to bring something to the table to move forward. And I think that's what because a lot of our community globally have been conditioned to receive things free. And so how do you bridge them out of that to be able to have a work ethic and self-sufficiency? I think is really, I know in the United States, on the people we're talking about, that's something that's very important. So social capital and culture is what I can bring.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. And Denise, you did have your closing statement, right?
No.
Denise, did I come to you? You didn't? Okay, Denise, your thoughts.
I think that my sister Michelle is correct, and it's a blessing to see my sister again. Michelle, how are you?
Yes, I am well. How are you?
Praise be. But I think that like my sister, who's a Reiki healer, so am I. I think across the planet, women have to heal. And I believe that the Black woman, because we are the original woman, can heal our daughters. And that's through, first of all, like I said, re-educating ourselves to who we are. Because once we realize who we are and we connect to that divine mind, the prosperity is going to come. Because we have more than one womb. We have the womb that brings physical man forward, but we also has that womb that is in the middle of our forehead where our thoughts come from. And as women, you know, when we just look at women, how we progress, even in slavery, they took a bone and made a meal. So as women, we are creative. We can turn nothing into something. And so once we begin to heal one another with trust and integrity, because I believe that men are benefiting from the way we're so divided. But once we come together and begin to trust one another and bring the resources together through education, educating women, bringing forth a new thought in women and helping them to understand that we are the true source of all power, that once we put our minds to something, it's done. Like this panel. We are dedicated women who have decided that we're going to fight this fight, not just for us, but for women on the entire planet to walk with integrity, to walk with freedom, and to enjoy the prosperity that is ours.
That's right.
But we have to discipline ourselves.
You know what? I could be here all day listening to all you powerful women, but time is now against us. I want to thank all of you. Thank all of you for being here. Dr. Imani could not be with us because she's traveling. Ego is not with us this afternoon. And then, of course, our sister Tina is going through some family challenges. But his mother's not feeling very well, and I hope she gets better very soon. I want to thank all of you. In closing, what I just wanted to get a taste of how you feel, your energy. This is really what this is about, not the nitty gritty of what we're going to do, because the work is on paper. When we meet, we go over what we're going to do. To have a conversation as sisters, understanding that we need to be a part of this powerful movement. In closing, we Africans must be, I want you all to hear this, what I'm going to say as I close this program. We Africans must be prepared to develop the courage to be free from fear. We Africans must understand that we can move even in the presence of anxiety that seems to engulf us now. There's so much going on the continent. It is not because we're bad people. Some of it is there on purpose to keep disunity going, to keep confusion going. Our people are suffering because of that mindset. But we Africans can move even in the presence of danger and opposition. But we must believe that we can. We must never stop working until we achieve unity with all Africans.
Absolutely.
Until we can define and determine what it is that we want for ourselves and our children, until we can link hands collectively on the African continent, in Europe, in America, wherever we may find ourselves, and remind each other that we are in this battle together. There's no African American. There's no African Ghanaian. There's no African Nigerian. There's African.
Absolutely.
We are African. That is our power. Coming together and realizing we are one. Until we can harness all our resources for the benefit of our own people, until we know within ourselves what we are and what the world is expecting us to do, and that we do not need to beg anymore.
Absolutely.
Sisters, this is what it's about.
Absolutely.
We can't keep begging.
Yes.
We can't keep begging anymore. That's why we're stepping into the to make this community glue. We're stepping into our own power. And so when we work for the Pan-African Federalist Movement, let's remember what we're doing. We're not working for somebody. We're working for us. We're working for our children. We are talented women. We are creative women. And we have tolerated so much nonsense.
Yes.
To the point that we have believed we are less than. Time out for that. I'm not yelling at you, baby. I'm just excited.
Go ahead.
It's time out until we ladies step into the ring and play our rightful role.
Yes.
We will continue to be consumed by others. Because guess what? Our children need us. Our husbands need us. Our sons and daughters need us. It is time for us to make way, put some things aside and make time for Africa.
Yes.
What I just said. Make time for Africa. Because when you make time for Africa, your children have something when you're no longer here. Other people are tapping into your resources and walking away. And we're sitting here looking. There are 3 kinds of African women. You got to ask yourself which one you are. There's one that watch things happen. There's one that makes things happen, which I think that's what we are. Then there are those who just sit back and watch, let somebody else do the work. And then you got those who are just in a daze and ask what the heck happened. They don't know we're not one of those. So ladies, until we can come together and do things, make things happen, and I'm excited about this committee. I am.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. There are 9 of us. We are going to make things happen that will blow the world away. Because people are hearing us. I'm getting all kinds of calls, people wanting to know how can they join. It's because of you. It's because of the outreach you're making already. I'm getting calls from everywhere. How do I get into this program? Because of you. Because you woke up. Because you said it's time. And for me, ladies, it is time. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to work. So here we are. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for joining us today. And I thank you for your willingness to serve. And I thank all the viewers who join us today. I remind you to visit our website, womencommission.net, and learn about our activities and scheduled events and about the Women Leadership Mobilization Commission and how you can join, how you can be a part of it. If you can, please join the Zoom call today. And if you're interested for Marie Sok, who's running for the presidency of Gambia. And of course, if I get her on my show, I will let all of you know so that we can all be a part of it. Many thanks to Jams Radio. Jams Radio has created a woman empowerment radio station for the Women's Commission. So we can use it however we want at no cost. Ladies, don't you have something you want to tell the world? Well, go to Jams.
Absolutely.
Yes, promote your business. Jam Station is ready to welcome whatever it is you're trying to do. And I am so honored to be your sister. I am so honored to be a part of this. And let me just, somebody says this is not for us to say, such a great show. That's an applause to you, ladies. They thought you presented yourselves very well, and your points were well taken. And let's see, this person, Udemos say women are 50% of the production capacity of a people. That's correct. If we are not performing, that's 50% that's not working. You see what I'm saying? And Matt Lewis says, thank you all for you. It was a great show. I was in awe of the beauty and power on the screen. Yes, indeed. And then Emeka Onyoha says, I am present. Yes, you are. Thank you so much, all of you. I love you dearly. We are going to make things happen. And when it does happen, we will celebrate the United African States. And guess what? The first president of the United African States is going to be a woman. Wow, yes. Maybe we get to if we find the right people, because we are responsible for finding the leaders. Let us go out there, ladies, and find these wonderful people and bring them into the fold. And so it is. Thank you so very much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.